Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Dennis here from Denny's Aquatics, and I want to do a quick video on some lessons that I've learned recently in regards to African cichlid fish keeping. I've only been keeping Africans for probably about 3.5 to 4 years now, and prior to that, most of my fish keeping experience, however, has been with South American cichlids and Central American. Did for quite a few years. But I just got interested in these guys and made the switch a few years ago, and very happy I did. So it's been a learning experience for me, and I just wanted to share some things that I have learned recently through the last few months, that just through trial and error. And one of them has to do with feeding fish, how often you should feed them. I used to feed twice a day, and started to find out that some of my fish started acting disinterested in feeding, which is not normal for an African. Some of them would kind of either back off during feeding time or take the pellets in and just spit them. And even had one fish, Star Sapphire, show early stages of bloat. And the only thing I really did to get him to snap out of it was to cut back on the amount of frequency of feedings, cut down on pellet size, and did a few extra water changes. And there he is right there. And he did snap out of it. And so it's been a learning experience for me. You know, I cut it back to once a day now, and it's working. Also helps with water parameters and, you know, the savings on food and so on. Fish seem to be very happy. And I'm glad I made the switch. The other one is regarding lighting, how often lights should be on. This room that the tank is in gets absolutely no lighting in it at all from the outside. It's in the basement, and the only light it ever sees is either if the basement light is on, which is rare, or if the tank lights are on. So I cut it back to just a few hours a day. And the fish, you know, for me, I've learned that the fish only really need to have the light on a few hours a day during feeding time and when viewing, which is key, because I think that the lighting is really more for us as fish keepers than it is for the fish. Lighting seems to, too much lighting seems to lead to increased aggression, helps them. It also causes them to color down, so I cut back on that, and it seems to have improved with the, you know, with aggression, better color, and less algae. And for those of you that have LED lights, I would also recommend turning the intensity of the lighting down when they are on. I've got mine down to about 70% right now with some blue tints to it. And it's working out, helps the fish color pop without getting too bright in there. Another lesson I've learned is actually in regards to canister filters. I had a surgery done not terribly long ago, and I had a aquarium service company come in here and install an FX6 in my aquarium because I just couldn't do it with back surgery. And I found out after recovering from the surgery and wondering why my FX6 wasn't pumping out the way I saw other FX6s put out, is because they simply cut the hose in half the way it comes straight out of the box. And I think you get about 13 or 14 foot of hose that comes with the filter. And so that meant that I had about 6.5 to 7 foot on each side on the inlet and then on the outlet, and the hose was dramatically looping downward and then back upward again up into the tank, which I don't know the exact mathematical formula, but the more hose you have and the more it loops downward and then has to work its way back up again, the less pressure you have coming out of your canister filter. And it's not just for FX6s, it's for any canister filter. And the last lesson I learned is just get the biggest tank you can possibly get from the start. Working your way up is just, it creates a lot of extra work for you. It's just unnecessary. You're better off saving your money and getting the biggest filter you can possibly afford. Biggest tank you can possibly afford. With the proper filtration, and doing it that way. I think you'd be happier that way. You'll be able to do much more with it. And that's really about it. This is a 220-gallon tank. Sometimes I wish it was a 300-gallon tank, as some of these fish have still not reached their full potential yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share that with you. These are just a few lessons I've learned lately. And with that, if you could please go ahead and comment so I can it helps me to get better. And subscribe and like, that would be greatly appreciated. Anyways, thanks very much for watching, and I am out. Bye.